We barely saved our democracy. I know that all the talking heads like to talk about how the institutions held and all that, but the institutions didn't hold. It was a very few key people who held, who had integrity. Brad Raffensperger in Georgia, and others who held the line, who were Republicans who decided to hold the line and tell the truth and be honorable to their oath of office. Absent those few people, things would have been much worse. Plus, we showed up in big, huge numbers, but it was still very few people across very few states. So it could have been a disaster. Can you imagine another 4 years of Trump? That would have clearly been the end of democracy. So that means our work is not over. We have a lot of work still to do. We've got to protect our voting rights because Republicans are going to try to take away our voting rights. They're already doing those kinds of things in Georgia now to restrict absentee voting, to make everybody get notarized registration forms. They're going to make it very, very difficult. And the reason they want to do all that is because a lot of the areas that would be affected by that don't necessarily have access to printers and computers, so it's a very big, huge hurdle for some to go ahead and follow those things. They're doing that intentionally. They're trying to isolate people of color, people who are in the inner cities who may not have access to printers and such. So the Republicans are opposed to democracy. We just gotta accept that. So we're gonna get one chance to get this right. We've got to be smart and strategic about how we defend our democracy. Republicans are not working on good faith. They're unethical, they plan to cheat, they plan to suppress because they cannot win. And they will continue to lie because they realize that their base won't call them on it. They'll let them lie nonstop, and then they'll call us the liars. And the press doesn't know how to handle that. The press is both siding everything. Well, on the one side, this person's got some completely nonsensical argument that's all based on lies. And on the other side is the Democrat who's trying to be honest and truthful about his position. Apples and oranges. But the press has not learned how to deal with someone talking to them with bad faith. So we have to do what we need to do. So we need to start thinking about how we can be strategic to help defeat the Republicans and republicanism everywhere. Because even though Trump is gone, Trumpism's still here. And as sad as it is to say, lying and cheating and stealing is an effective way to win. All we have to do is go back and read The Prince by Machiavelli. He tells you to do whatever you need to do to win. And Republicans have embraced that. And Democrats need to recognize that we're at war. We're at war for the soul and the spirit and the existence of our democracy. So let's get on board. Let's do what we need to do. Let's win in 2022. Let's win in 2024. And let's press Biden to get things done. Because we have a very narrow window of opportunity. If we lose the House in 2022, you can rest assured they're not going to let Biden do anything else for the remainder of his term. And then they're going to be saying that Biden failed, didn't get anything done. And their lying sound machine, propaganda machine on the right, Fox News and others, are going to be out here saying the same thing. And then they're going to get on the mainstream media outlets and say the same thing because they're going to both sides it. And people are going to get confused. So we already know the game plan. So we need to come up with an effective strategy against it. We can do this, but we can't give up. We need to keep up the fight.